What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be looking at the 3.4 beta. I'm currently live on Twitch. This is the first time I'm going to be seeing most of the stuff. I did see one thing about Phainon, so I will say, if you don't want spoilers for the 3.4 story, I would avoid watching the Phainon. I'll have a timestamp somewhere on screen right now of when you can take a look. But without further ado, let's look at what they do. So Phainon, to start with, he's a physical destruction, like we already knew. He's based on attack percent. We want to tone that down to 6, 10. I guess it doesn't really matter. This is probably going to change. This is the version 1. So gains 2 points of core flame, dealing physical damage equal to 300% of Phainon's attack to one designated enemy, and then 120 to adjacent enemies. Very strong. That's actually kind of insane. 300% is a lot of damage. Transforms into blank. This is what I was talking about. This is the only spoiler I got was his ultimate is a transformation. I've not seen any of his animations yet. When he transforms, other teammates leave the field, and all enemies gain physical weakness. Okay. Does not have his own turn, but has 8 extra turns and a fixed speed equal to 60% of his base speed. At the start of the final blank, does not have his own extra turn, immediately launches final hit and deals physical damage equal to 960% of his attack. Even that is distributed evenly among. That's insane. 960 attack is kind of crazy. This one turn it down to 10, unless you're gonna go to E6M, which is, you know, to each their own. Phainon's talent, when core flame reaches 12 points, that was when he right here in his skill, he gets 2 points. So when it reaches 12, that's when you could use his ultimate. So it's like Acheron's. You can have up to 3 excess points. When Phainon is the target of an ally or an enemy's ability, he gains 1. Okay, so he also gains points if you support him or he takes hits. Bothers me that all the counter units are supposed to be slow. Yeah, but it kind of makes sense because you want them to take hits. Also, YouTube, you can't see the chat, but I'm talking to chat. Sorry about that. When he's targeted, increases crit damage by 30%. Oh, when he's the target of an ally's... Okay, so he just gets crit damage on top of if you're running like Bronya, whatever crit damage Bronya gives. So it's going to have a lot of crit damage. When transforming, gains 4 points of bruise. If an ally target... Or if it is during an ally target's turn, all buffs on that target will be extended by 1 turn and the current turn ends. Blank is immune to crowd control debuffs and has 1 enhanced basic attack and 2 enhanced skills, but cannot use ultimate. During his transformation, increases attack by 80% and max HP by 40%. After attacking, restores HP to 20% of his max HP upon taking a killing blow. Blank will not get knocked down and will instead restore HP equal to 25% of his max HP and immediately launch final hit. For every 1 remaining turn Blank has, the final hit's damage is reduces by 12.5% of the original multiplier. When the transformation ends, increases all ally speed by 15%, lasting for 1 turn. Okay. And then these are his abilities in his transformed state. When Phainon is on the team, increases max technique points by 3. Oh wow. Okay. Technique points are like the out of combat abilities, not like Sparkle, how she increases the amount of skill points you have. Actively uses technique by consuming 2 technique points to attack. Okay, so he gives 3, but he takes 2 to use his technique. Okay. Immediately attack all enemies within a certain range. After entering battle, regenerates 25 energy for allies. Gains 2 Scourge. And dude, he's got so much stuff. He's got Scourge, Bruise, and something else. Core Flame. And 1 skill point. Deals physical damage equal to 200% of Phainon's attack to all enemies at the start of each wave. If attacking a normal enemy, immediately defeats them without entering okay, so he's got an Acheron-like thing. When not hitting enemies, no technique points are consumed. Okay. I personally just like putting it at 10, chat. Like, that's just me. Alright, so in his ultimate, his basic attack, obtains 2 Scourge, dealing physical damage equal to 350% of his attack to 1 designated enemy, and physical damage equal to 105 of his attack to enemies adjacent to it. Is that more? 350 than his normal? Oh no, that's his basic attack. No, that would be way stronger. Enhanced skill. Oh yeah, he has 2 enhanced skills. I thought I read something about that. I wasn't sure if it was true or not, but he does. All right. When bruise or gains bruise by an amount equal to the number of enemy targets present, and then causes all enemy targets to immediately take action and gain 1 stack of soul-rending blaze. When in the soul-ending dude, he's got a new thing. When its soul-rending blaze state, reduces blank's damage received by 75% and gains 1 stack of soul-rending blaze. After enemy targets attack or take action, triggers a counter after all enemies take their immediate actions, dealing physical damage to all enemies equal to 40% of blank's attack, as well as additionally deals 4 instances of damage. Each instance of being physical damage equal to 30% of blank's attack. Then soul-rending blaze is dispelled. Each stack of soul-rending blaze increases this counter's damage multiplier by 20% of their original multiplier. Damage dealt through this ability is considered as skill damage. If soul-rending blaze is still active at the end of blank's extra turn, immediately launches counter. So he does have a huge counter. Again, another physical destruction DPS having a counter. Nothing new here. And then his other skill dispels all debuffs from this unit, then deals physical damage up to 1,170% of blank's attack. That is no small number. Although it is a bounce, so make sure you take that into account. In that, for every 1 point of bruise consumed, deals 4 instances of damage, each instance being physical damage equal to 45% of blank's attack dealt to 1 random enemy. When consuming 4 points of bruise, additionally deals physical damage equal to 450% of blank's attack, and this damage is evenly distributed among all enemies. Wow. So Phainon's gonna run the meta for a while. But let's see what his traces are. When the transformation ends, gains 3 stacks of core flame. Okay. He gets crit damage, speed. When receiving healing effects or shields from a teammate, increases damage dealt by 40% for 4 turns. This effect cannot be triggered repeatedly within 1 turn. When receiving energy regeneration abilities, effects provided by teammates gain 1 point of core flame. Okay. More crit rate, more crit damage. When entering battle or when transformation ends, increases attack by 50%. This effect can stack up to 2 times. Wow, he only has good traces. All speed or crit stats. That's crazy. And here's Eidolons. I'm not going to read those because I'm probably not going to dig for Eidolons. I don't usually do that. But I'll leave them up for a second if you want to pause the video and read it. That Ascension would make Tingyun really good for him. Yeah. No, it would. And then we're scrolling down to see his animations. Will this show up on stream? Okay. So here are Phainon's animations. There's audio. I didn't think there'd be audio, I'd be honest. Alright. The quality is really bad, by the way. But it usually is for stuff like this. Alright, Kevin, I see you. I'm gonna turn that down. It was really loud in my ear. Oh. Okay. Alright, his battle animations. I'm assuming that black hole was his technique. I mean, it would make sense because he just one-shots things by doing that. Okay. That was definitely the skill. Okay, so he does not have a counter in his base state. Oh, here's the ult. Okay. Oh, and he's got a field too? Okay. That's got to be the basic attack. Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay, he's kind of goated. This is my first time seeing his animations. I've seen this. If you can see my mouth. Yeah, you can. I've seen what he looks like in his transformation, but I've never seen his animations. This is all new to me, and this is insane. Oh, that's it, evidently. What are these? Oh, I didn't even have to go full screen. Oh, is this just These are just his transformation animations, it looks like. Yeah, we don't have to rewatch that. Okay. So Phainon, and we will be polling. You are right, chat. We will be polling. Okay, let's go back let's go back home. All right. Welcome back, people. We just watched Phainon stuff, and it was pretty sick. But let's move on to the Kafka changes. So Kafka, I was looking over the kits. The kits themselves didn't change much, and I said this while I was doing Phainon, but I liked turning it down to level 10 because I don't really fish for Eidolons that much. So this is like these are the stats I usually look at, but obviously you can look at the levels on your own. So yeah, her basic attack's not changing because it shows the old one. Yeah, old one's down here, like it says old. So basic attack's not changing, obviously. Deals lightning damage equal to 160% of Kafka's attack to one designated enemy, and lightning damage equal to 60% of Kafka's attack to adjacent units. If the designated enemy or the adjacent target is currently receiving dots currently placed on that enemy, immediately produce damage equal to 75 or 50% of the original damage. The reason I said this is because this is a slight change. This at the end, like I don't think they really changed her ult. Like I said, I did read them over. I don't think they really changed anything on her ult. But they changed this on the end of her skill. It's a little bit weaker, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah, see, it's only 75 here. And it's 75 or 50%. What they really buffed on Kafka was her follow-up. By the way, if you chose to accept the buff version, supposedly you will never be able to revert it. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you could just freely swap between the two. But the big change was her follow-up. So it can be procced by anything now, not just ally basic attacks. After Kafka's teammates uses attack, so skill, ultimate, anything, it'll proc the follow-up, and it deals 140% of Kafka's attack to that target with a 100% chance to shock him, and equivalent to the shock applied by her ultimate, lasting for 2 turns. This effect can be triggered up to 2 times now, not just 1, and she still gains 1 use at the end of her turn, but she also gains 1 after ulting, I believe. I wonder if it would be here. No, it doesn't say here. I don't know where it says specifically. They changed this. When allies' targets' effect hit rate is over 75%, Kafka increases their dot dealt by 75%, so she's now just like an amplifier for allies' dot, more so than she was before. And this is a crazy buff. So she still regens energy if they die while being shocked. Yeah, here it is. After using ultimate, Talent's follow-up attack regains 1 trigger count, and can cause all dot debuffs the current target has under the to immediately produce damage equal to 80% of the original damage. So she can proc dots with her follow-up like she does with her ultimate. And now when you use her ultimate, she regains 1 count of her follow-up attack. So energy regen just became really good on Kafka. And I believe that is it. I think they changed some of her Eidolons, but same thing with, like I said with Phainon, I don't really care. But I'll leave this here for a second, just so you can take a peek if you're curious. And with that, let's move on to Silver Wolf. I gotta scroll all the way up. Bear with me. Obviously, we don't have to go through her animations because her animations themselves aren't changing. Alright, Silver Wolf. The big change was her skill, I believe? Prioritizing planting weakness. No, her ultimate was a big change. Her ultimate's an AoE now. It's not a single target anymore. It has a 100% base chance to decrease all enemies' defense by 45%. And it deals damage equal to 380% of her attack to all enemies. Which, I'm not sure if the damage is a buff. Let's look. Yeah, the damage isn't a buff, and the percentage defense isn't a buff. But it's an AoE, so it's a huge buff, actually. But it's also 100%, I believe. Yeah, it's 120 now. So you need even less effect hit rate than before. What did they do here again? Also reducing the enemy's target res weakness type by 20%. Yeah, okay, so did she do the weakness res? No. That's not new. I don't remember what they did to their skill, and I don't really feel like reading all of it. So it's a 120 now. Oh yeah, this sentence prioritizes implanting the weakness corresponding to the first ally target in the lineup. So, put your DPS in slot 1 is what essentially. It's yeah, pretty simple. Eidolons. I don't know if this is new because I don't remember reading her old ones. This is definitely new. At the start of battle, immediately regenerates 20 energy. Silver Wolf regenerates 5 at the start of her own turn. I don't... That might not be new. Hang on. We can literally just scroll down and look. No, it's not new. Or, no, it is new. For every 10% effector rate that Silver Wolf has, additionally increases her attack by 10% by a max of 50%. So just get 50% effector res and you'll be golden. And we'll look at... I'll once again pause here so you can take a look at her Eidolons. These are the new ones. These are the old ones. And with that, let's move on to Blade. Oops, I keep hitting all. I should be just hitting new. Blade. Alright. So they're switching him, like, completely to an HP build, like how they did for... Or, spoiler, how they're doing for Jingliu. But other than that, they didn't really change him. It just... Think of Blade, but now he only scales with HP. Like, that's really it? Because I don't have Blade. Like, he's one of the few units in the game that I don't have. So I don't really know how he worked before. But I believe it's just they changed everything to HP scaling. So I think that's the same. Like I said, I was reading it a little bit. I don't know if that's new or not. It's kind of weird that they give him a weakness breaking one, but whatever. Increases damage dealt by follow-up attack by 20% and it regenerates 20% energy. So yeah, that's not new. That's not new. Okay, all they did was really tack on 15 energy regen to that one. That's it. So nothing crazy there. And once again, we're pausing here. Once again, I'm sorry for kind of just breezing through Blade. He's like one of the few characters I don't have. And so I don't really know how to gauge his buff. I mean, it's probably really good, but... And with that, let's move on to Jingliu. The last of the buffs, Jingliu. Like her counterpart Blade, or counterpart's not the right way to put it, but whatever. Just full HP. Everything's the same, except just it scales off HP now. Although, they did do one thing in her ultimate state. So... Yeah. So when in Spectral Transmigration, whatever you pronounce that, Jingliu gains 1 stack of Moonlight. When consuming ally target's HP, each stack of Moonlight increases Jingliu's crit damage by 44% up to 5 stacks. That is insane. That is crazy insane. But the thing is, that also means you have to attack 5 times. Like, it sounds amazing. Jingliu is gonna get nerfed. Oh, absolutely. But, like, it sounds broken on paper. But you also gotta remember, you have to attack 5 times in her ultimate, which you can't always do. Like, you're not guaranteed. Like, you can, but it's not, like, guaranteed every single time. So, I am happy to be able to use Jingliu, because I did pull Jingliu, but it was on her rerun. I actually pulled her by accident. I pulled Adventurine really early, so it's like, screw it, let's throw a 10 pull at Jingliu. And I got her in that 10 pull. I pulled her 1 10 pull after getting Adventurine, so I was like, oh, alright, cool, I have her now. So, yeah, I absolutely pulled Jingliu by accident, but I don't regret it. Well, at the time I did, because, you know, she was kind of garbage at that point. She's my first main for, like, 5 patches. Yeah, my first main was, Seal. I used the Mono Quantum quite a bit. I don't think her traces... Yeah, that's the same... Wait, effect... Yeah, it was effect res. Okay, I thought it was effect pen. I was like, oh no, that's a huge buff, but no. Next defense enhances by 10. Nope. Okay, that's new. They changed this. After using Transcendent Flash, additionally regenerates 15 energy. That'll be good for using her enhanced skill often, because you need to ult to get it. So, that'll be good. Yeah, that's the same. And here you go. Here are her Eidolons. And with that, we'll move on to, I think it was Saber was next. Saber, I'm really looking... Honestly, the Fate collab in general, I am totally looking forward to. I like glanced over their kits, and my goodness, they both seem so good. Alright, here we go. Saber. Her base stats. She is an 8... Or, I was about to say HP. She is an attack scaling DPS. So, obviously, basic attack, normal. 100% of Saber's attack. Her skill deals wind damage equal to 150% of Saber's attack to one designated enemy, and then deals 75 to adjacent enemies. You know, typical destruction DPS kind of thing. If currently holding core resonance and consuming it after this skill would fully regenerate Saber's energy. And let me tell you, that is very, very important, because it doesn't show it here, but... Okay, it's not showing it anywhere for some reason. I don't know why it's not, but her ultimate, it costs 360 energy. She has a very high energy cap. 360 is no small feat, so to be able to just fully regenerate energy is insane. That increases the damage multiplier for the usage of skill. Each core resonance increases the damage multiplier for the skill by 14%, then immediately consumes all core resonance to fully regenerate energy for Saber. Otherwise, immediately gains 2 core resonance. So yeah, very good. Ultimate deals wind damage equal to 280% of Saber's attack to all enemies, then deals wind damage equal to 110 of Saber's attack to one random enemy, occurring 10 times. That's going to be a lot of damage. At first, when I first read it, I thought it was like a bounce thing, but no, it's to one enemy. Unfortunately, it is random though, so be careful when doing that. After using ultimate, the next basic attack switches to release the Golden Scepter, and only release the Golden Spectre can be used. So she gets an enhanced basic attack after using her ultimate. Her talent obtains 1 core resonance point when entering battle. When allied target uses an ultimate, increases damage dealt by Saber by 50% for 2 turns, and obtains 3 core resonance points. Consuming 1 core resonance point will regenerate a fixed 10 energy for Saber. And then... So that was her talent, and then her technique. After using technique, increases Saber's attack by 35% for 2 turns and grants 2 core resonance at the start of the next battle. Pretty basic, pretty standard. And then here's her enhanced basic attack. Turn that down to 6. Gains 2 core resonance and deals wind damage equal to 150% of Saber's attack to all enemies. So this one's not, you know, 150 and then 75 to adjacent. If there are 2 to 1 enemies on the field, additionally deals wind damage equal to 150% or 70% of Saber's attack to all enemies. So yeah, 1 or 2 enemies, bigger, more damage. Easy. Talents increases Saber's crit rate by 20% when entering battle and using enhanced basic attack. Obtains Mana Burst. If Saber has Mana Burst and Core Resonance at the same time, then she can fully regenerate her energy after using skill, and consumes Mana Burst to allow allies to recover 1 skill point while letting her immediately take action. A lot to unpack. That is an insane talent, to say the least. That is a crazy first talent, and that's her first talent, like I said. So, crit rate, wind damage, max HP, you know, that kind of sucks, but whatever. Saber can accumulate up to 120 excess energy, so you can have a max of 480 energy on her. After using ultimate, the excess energy is cleared and a corresponding amount is regenerated. When the battle starts, if energy is below 40%, it's regenerated to 40%, so she cannot enter battle with less than 40. More crit rate, there's an attack one. I hope they get rid of these HP ones. I hope they don't keep that. That'd suck. When using skill, increases Saber's crit damage by 50% for 2 turns. So she literally gives herself free crit rate and damage. She gives herself 20 rate for free and 50 damage when you use her skill. And it doesn't say it doesn't stack either. So it might be able to stack. So imagine going like Saber into like Sunday and having her go again and just giving herself more crit rate. I don't know if that would work, but I don't know. Here are her Eidolons if you want to read them. And with that, let's go on to the final entry, Archer. Archer. Okay. Archer is awesome. I've seen a couple of his animations, but Archer is very cool. Oh, we forgot to watch Saber's animation. Shoot. Professional YouTuber. This is my first Starrail video. If you like what you see, you know, hit that sub button. Sorry. Alright, here we go. I'm not gonna bother going full screen this time. We'll just watch it like this. A lot of people were complaining about this Saber design, but they don't realize that the creator of Fate designed this Saber. Like, this wasn't Hoyoverse that made this design for Saber. This was actually the creator of Fate. Like, he was the one that wanted this design in the game. Okay. I hate how they always fight the robots in the beta. And they take like 10 years to do their animations. Okay, that was pretty cool. And then this is what they showed when they leaked it like a couple weeks ago. Okay, here's your enhanced basic attack. Okay, pretty fire. Okay. You know, honestly, like giving my honest thought, it wasn't as amazing as I thought it would be, but you know, it was still really good. Okay, and we get to Archer, just turning all these down. Okay, so attack scaling, you know, pretty typical. He's Hunt, Archer is Saber was Destruction, but okay. Enters the circuit connection state, deals quantum damage equal to 400% of Archer's attack to one designated enemy target. In the circuit connection state, he does not end after using skill. Very important. So he's like Dan Heng, where you can use multiple skill points, and increases the damage dealt by Archer's skill by 100%. This effect can be stacked up to 2 times, lasting until he exits the circuit connection state. After actively using skill 5 times, or when there are insufficient skill points. Using skill point again causes him to exit the circuit connection state and ends the turn. Exits the circuit connection state after all enemies have been defeated in each wave. So very skill point heavy character. You know what that means? Sparkle finally has a second teammate. The second character to ever work with Sparkle. What a day. And ultimate, very straightforward. Deals quantum damage equal to 1,200% of his attack to one enemy. And gains 2 charges. Up to a maximum of 4 charge. I don't know what that charge is. Maybe it's circuit connection. We don't know. I don't know. But 1,200 attack is insane. Talent. When Archer's teammate attacks an enemy target, he consumes 1 charge and immediately launches... Oh, this is the charge. Consumes 1 charge and immediately launches follow-up attack on the primary target, dealing quantum damage equal to 240% of Archer's attack and recovering 1 skill point. Oh, that's insane, actually. Wait. He recovers a skill point after using his talent. That's actually really cool. So, yeah, but he can only do that twice per ultimate. How much does his ult cost? 240. Okay, so he's got a pretty heavy ult, too. Okay. Talent. When Archer's teammate attacks an enemy target... Wait. No, I just read that. Technique. Immediately attacks the enemy after entering combat. Deals quantum damage equal to 200% of Archer's attack to all enemies and gains 1 charge. Pretty straightforward. Unironically, Sunday probably still better than Sparkle in some cases. Maybe. I don't know, but you want... The thing is, you want skill points with him. Like, that's the thing. You want to have a bunch of skill points. So I think Sparkle would be better than Sunday. Yeah, and when he's on the field, increases maximum skill points by 1. And then if you have... what's it called? If you have Sparkle, then you'll have 8 skill points, which is actually kind of insane. Again, he's cursed with HP. kind of a letdown. Quantum damage. When Archer enters battle, gains 1 charge. So you get 1 follow-up for... Actually, you get 2 if you use his technique. You get 2 follow-ups for free if you use his technique. After allies gain a skill point, if there are 4 skill points or more, increases Archer's crit damage by 60% for 1 turn. So another reason I think Sparkle would be better, because gaining skill points, and then if there's 4 or more, so you'll have more skill points to work with if you have Sparkle. And then here is Eidolons. And remember, chat, this unit is free. Except the Eidolons, of course, you have to summon for those. But the initial unit is free. And then we'll scroll down, watch his animation. Oops, I did not mean to do that. I wanted to just click on there. There we go. Why is Saber here? Anyway, this ain't about you. Oh, he gets the baseball bat. What the heck? Sunday is skill point positive with Lycone. But, yeah, but he's not... For his talent, for Archer's talent, you have to have above 4 skill points. So, like, even if Sunday is skill point positive with his Lycone, I still think Sparkle is just better for Archer. I don't know what the team would be. I think he'd definitely be more of a hyper carry. Like, I don't think Topaz might work with him. Like, it could just be the follow-up team, like a normal one, but with Sparkle and instead of Robin. And what's it called? Like Archer, Topaz, Sparkle, and probably Adventurine. Or maybe even Huohuo for the energy regen. I feel like that's so cool, man. And he can just keep doing that. Man, so cool, man. And remember, chat, again I say, he is completely free. Except for Eidolons. Okay, very cool. Very cool. Awesome free-to-play unit. And then we got all these light cones. I'm not going to read all of them. I'll just let you guys read them. These are all the 4-star ones. Should check out the light cones. Yeah. All the 4-star ones, these are going to be Battle Pass light cones. At least I'm pretty sure they're going to be Battle Pass light cones. And there's another one on the second page, but I'll leave this up for a second. And then this one's Phainons, this one's Sabers, and this one's Archers. Oops. Sorry. And then, yeah, these are all Battle Pass light cones. I read through them. They seem very good. There were a couple that really stood out. It was... Yeah, the Destruction one, because most Destruction units only use their skill and ultimate. Increases crit damage, and then skill and ultimate damage. Sabers is most likely a must-have. What Sabers? Increases crit rate by 36... Crit damage by 36%. Increases the wearer's attack by 40% when using ultimate. The wearer's max energy is greater or equal than 300. Regenerates a fixed amount of energy equal to 10% of the wearer's max energy and increases their attack by 40%. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, here's another reason that you would want to run Sparkle. Or no. I guess you could just run him, never mind. Okay, and then on the second page, there's just one extra one. This is the Hunt one, it wasn't on the other page. Increases wearer's crit damage. Yeah, this one's gonna be really good too. That one would be really good for like Fei Zhao if you don't have anything that works with her, because crit damage and then her skill and follow-up damage increased by 24%, because guess what, her ultimate counts as a follow-up attack, so that would really benefit Fei Zhao if you don't have anything better. And then the 2 new relics. When the number of ally targets on the field is not 4, for every 1 extra / missing ally, increases the wearers and their memo rates damage by 9% or 12%, stacking up to 4 to 3 times. So, Basically, just a DPS memo sprite option. I don't think it would be better for like Casterus or anybody, but it might be good for like Phainon. And the other one increases the wearer's dot damage by 12% when the wearer's attack is higher than or equal to 2,400 or 3,600. Additionally, increases the dot damage dealt by 12 or 24%. So finally, a dot buff, but you know, maybe with Kafka's buff, it might maybe dot will come back. Although it's probably not gonna come back, because I've been seeing leaks about Hycelin's, who's supposed to be like the dot reviver. Like, she's supposed to make it so dot like crits and stuff, something like that. Don't take my word for it, chat. These are just based on leaks that I've seen. Everything here, this is in the beta right now. Like, this is what they're looking at right now. But obviously, everything here is subject to change. It could absolutely change, chat, and YouTube chat. But that's gonna do it. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for coming out. I am Pocket Mayus. I stream on Twitch every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I'm currently trying to do a complete account rebrand, so if you could come down and watch me, you can't see me, but I've got 2 thumbs up, it would mean a lot. And I would greatly appreciate it. And with that, I'm out. Thanks for coming by. Peace.